Hello, Auburn family. This is Jason Campbell, your host on the On to Victory podcast. We got another special show coming today, and this one you really, really want to dive into. Like this guy, he's made a lot of noise at Appalachian State. He comes to Auburn in May, and has high accolades. Man, I hear so much about him on the field as well as off the field. About him having a great demeanor. He doesn't talk a lot about himself. He kind of lets his play do the speaking for him. And Justin, you can probably attest to this after being around Auburn with AuburnLive.com. You've done such a great job in covering a lot of these guys. You've seen a lot from Jalen. I'm gonna go ahead and just say his name because I'm pretty sure everyone figured it out once I said Appalachian State. What have you seen so far and heard so far about him?
Yeah, I think Jalen is one of the least talked about transfers in this class. And I don't know if it's just because the timing of when he sort of landed in this class, or maybe if people are just more focused on what Auburn did on the offensive side of the ball, whether it's quarterback and receiver. Offense gets the shine and gets the attention a lot of times. But I think Jalen at that position, at that edge jack position, and in his production at Appalachian State, I think he is incredibly important to what Auburn's going to do next year on this fall on defense, and I think he's incredibly important to what they can accomplish as a whole. I just think he fits a need. He's talented. He's got experience. I just think he's one of these guys that's flying under the radar a little bit in terms of newcomers to Auburn's roster, and I just think he's really, really important. So I'm curious to talk to him a little bit more, but he's a really talented player off the edge that can get to the quarterback, which is something Auburn desperately needed after losing Derek Hall and Eku Leota. So I think he's one of the more under-talked about, underappreciated guys in this class coming in.
Yeah, I think it was a big move for him to come to the SEC. He's right now listed as one of the top 10 edge rushers in all of college football going into the 2023 season. And like you just spoke of, you lose Derek Hall, you lose Kobe Wooten, and then Eku Leota. Those guys have moved on. And now you have someone like him to step in with Elijah McAllister and Keldrick Falk and Larry Nitson. So, we kind of went out and got some guys that can come in and make an impact right away. And I think, once this season gets going and you see Auburn in the win columns in a lot of these games, he's going to have a lot to say about that. And, I can't wait to just hear what he has to say and everything. So Auburn family, we're going to bring in Jalen. Like I said, my co-host here today, Justin Hokanson, with AuburnLive.com. So tune in because this is about to be a great episode. Let's bring our talent in right now. Jalen, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just trying to get you on a bigger screen so that everybody see your face instead of mine.
Okay.
There you go. So, Jalen, let's talk about, man, you from Washington, D.C. You go to Appalachian State. You have a great career there. And what is it that you saw in Auburn that you wanted to take an opportunity to just kind of, come here and make some noise on the Plains?
The first thing was I knew who Derek Hall was, and I've been watching his film since I was at App State, since I was sophomore season. So I actually been tuning into Derek Hall. So I'm like, man, I come here and make an impact. And the second thing was the coaching staff. When I entered the transfer portal, it felt like home. Like even my parents loved it, and they had so much say so into my decision coming to Auburn. And it still feel like home. Like even the coaches still talk to you on a daily, everything. So that's the real number one, the culture or the coaching staff.
Jalen, when you're looking at schools out of the transfer portal, I think what transfers are looking for might be a little different than maybe what a high school prospect is looking for, because you've kind of been through the process. Maybe you're looking for different things. What specifically were you looking for, and what stood out about Auburn, whether it's culture, whether it's what Ron Roberts wants to do on defense, whether it's depth chart? What was the determining factor for you, do you think?
The determining factor was where do you see me at playing as when I'm on the field. So when I came on a visit, I literally had like an hour. I think an hour 30 minutes. Just sitting down watching film with Coach Roberts, and everything he was explaining to me, I'm like, it's kind of the same thing from our state. So it's not really a big transition other than the conference from what I'm used to. So I was used to the off a little bit 3-4 stand up edge. So I was used to that. Everything, the techniques is nowhere near like they literally the same thing. It's literally the same thing. So that was another factor that was one huge factor that played a role in me coming to Auburn. And that stood out from all the other schools that recruited me.
Yeah, another thing too is you got a little bit of taste of playing in the SEC. You know, you played against A&M last year. You had a monster game. You had 2 sacks, and then you had, I believe, you forced 2 fumbles on the same play. I don't know how that's possible, but you just tell us like what, like when you look at the SEC and you see the talent that you'll be going up against this year. Most of these guys are going to be playing on Sundays, and you get a chance to get that experience right now because you'll be going against those same guys at the next level. But when you talk about the SEC as a conference, what do you see about the conference that you say, okay, this is where I want to go play my last year of college in? Because I feel like this can propel me because the guys and the talent that I'm playing against, nothing against App State, because App State is a great program and they do a lot of great things. They come into the SEC and beat some teams before. So just talk about just as a whole, as a conference, what you excited about in the SEC this year.
The exposure, like it's the next. That's just the closest thing to the NFL you could get from college. Like the SEC is big time football. The talent, everything, and me as an undersized edge rusher, it wasn't gonna be as, no matter how good a season I had at App State, it wasn't gonna turn out as big, or I wasn't gonna get enough publicity from me doing what I'm doing at App State. So I thought if I come here in the SEC, do the same thing or at least close to it, or then my future will be brighter than what it would have been at App State, and that's the truth.
Jalen, has there been anything surprising to you since you arrived, whether it's the campus, whether it's the city, whether it's the coaching staff, or maybe getting to know guys on the team, or maybe even the talent on the roster that you're thinking is, maybe you're like, whoa, there's more talent here than I thought, or whatever it might be? Have there been a few things that once you got here have sort of hit you that maybe you didn't know when you originally committed to Auburn?
One thing I would say I was surprised of was how close the players was. Even though it's like half of the team is transfers, the players are really close. So that was one thing that was surprising. I'm like, oh, I'm coming in. It's gonna be like all these transfers. We're gonna be distant from each other. Nope, we came in. I felt right in with everybody, and everybody treated me like family. And that's the number one thing that surprised me.
Yeah, and that's the thing about, we have a bunch of transfer guys come in. It's no different than playing at the next level. Your roster in the NFL overturns so much dramatically each year from year to year. When you're in college now, this is kind of like the new norm. Where it used to be high school guys, you had to have a chance to develop and everything. But now, it's all about how fast can you win and how fast can you turn the program around. You look at Auburn over the last 2 years, we've struggled to get the wins in the column like we should have. But now, you bring in some transfer guys. Coach Freeze comes in. He's a guy that's been in the SEC. He's coached here before in the SEC. So he understands what it takes. But then he goes out and get veteran guys like yourself and others. And, you guys come in with high character. I always talk about you and Elijah, how y'all carry yourselves, not just on the field, but away from the field. I think you can help this young football team grow dramatically because you look at this team, there's talent. You bring in like Keldrick Falk and those guys, there's talent that came in, but they need someone to make an immediate impact like yourself to give those guys time to learn. And do you see yourself as a big time mentor and someone that these young guys lean on heading into fall camp next week?
Yes, sir. I always talking to Keldrick. I think that he's gonna be a star. Like I think he's gonna be the next big thing coming out of Auburn. Like he gonna be that good because he listen and everything me and Elijah tell him. He just listen. He take everything in. He come in for extra field time. You really don't see young guys like that doing that. And they actually listen. Whenever Elijah or me talk, they listen because we been there, we done that, and we older. We got experience. That's the number one thing that people listen to because somebody have experience. So that comes with wisdom. And everybody just listen. Even with Marcus, Jay Jones, when they talking, all the young guys listen because they want to be great. Yeah. That's what I like about these young guys that's here at Auburn.
Jalen, when people watch you play, and maybe they've watched some film at you at Appalachian State, but most fans have not seen you play. When you step out there against UMass, most of those people will not have seen you play. What can they expect from you as a player on the football field? And in particular, what can they expect from you within this defense? We've talked to Ron Roberts in the past, and he's talked about wreaking havoc. It's a big part of what he does on defense, creating negative plays. I think you're going to be a big part of that, trying to pressure the quarterback. But what will people see in you as a player, and what's kind of your role, the way you see it in this defense?
Okay. Watching me play, you're gonna see I have a high motor. Every play, I don't play just like the first. I'm playing to the last. And as a jack, I play jack. The first thing you got to do as an edge rush, you got to wreak havoc. Like they put your job is on the field as an edge, make plays. Like they throw you in there and just say, "Go play football." You know, we probably got one of the easiest jobs on defense, and that comes with having high motor, technique, everything. So even when I'm tired, I'm gonna go 100%, and that's why I hope everybody that's watching me see that.
Jalen, are you aware of who Dwight Freeney is?
Yeah, Dwight Freeney, spin move.
Yeah, spin move guy. Because you remind me a lot of him. I think of your size and at the time that when he was in college. You know, his size and speed, getting around edge rushers and different things, causing havoc. I see you in that same kind of format. You know, you're not a 6'6" guy, but 6'2", 6'3", and you have a high motor, and that's what teams look for now. How fast can you get to the quarterback to sack the quarterback? And I think you play right into those hands. But you think about your secondary that you got behind you this year is really, really good. Does that change your mindset sometimes as far as like being a pass rusher, knowing like I may have a little extra time to get to the quarterback now because these guys may be able to cover a little bit longer?
Yes, that we working together because if I get there fast enough, it take a lot off them. But if they able to cover, because this DB core we have, probably the best in SEC. I'm not kidding. So that right there already when I come to the line, I'm like, okay, they got my back. So I know I could work on a move. I could be able to get my I don't have to rush too much, you know, because when you rush, your technique is off a little bit. So when I get to the line, I know I got that DB core behind me. I know I could do what I want with the tackle in one-on-one situations. So yes, it plays like we both come hand in hand with each other. We help each other. We got each other back. That front seven with the back four.
Yeah. Yeah, and Justin, you got one more for him, or you good?
I'm good, man. Let's see. What would be a good one? Who are you rooming with, man? Who have you become tight with since arriving?
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm by myself because when my parents come down, I don't want them to spend too much on hotel food, so I just rent a 2-bedroom by myself. So when they come down for the games, they fine. But somebody I'm tight with, it's probably Elijah, Brandon. He the young guy, young Jack. Rod, he cool. He knew he'll walk on, and a couple other guys. A lot on Keys, he cool. Like Keys, that's my dog. You know, we always talking in the locker room, everything. And yeah, that's probably it. Those are the ones I talk to the most.
Hey, one thing I would like to ask, and before, I know Jason's going to do his rapid fire, but one thing that just sort of sparked me as a transfer coming in, how do you integrate your personality without, you know, you got all these guys that have been in the program maybe for a couple of years. Did you just come in and say, like, was there any transition period where you feel like you need to feel things out and not overstep any bounds? Like, hey, I don't want to, or are you like, hey, I'm gonna come in and be me no matter what? How do you sort of handle that?
Yeah, for me as a person, I observe a lot. I'm very observant. So when I came in, I'm like, I know who and who I'm not really, you know, because sometimes personality is not my conflict, but other than that, my personality not really like that. So I knew who I was gonna click with well, and even people that I probably wasn't gonna click with well, they still cool, you know. Cool. So I had to observe a little bit.
Hey, Justin, you asked a great question because he's a man of wisdom. When he said who his roommate is, he said, look, I got 6 months to do what I need to do. I don't want no distraction, you know, and everything. So, you know, he just wants to show that leadership and everything. And like I said, man, just keep doing what you're doing. I think you're going to be great for Auburn this year. I think you're going to have a great season. From an NIL perspective, you know, we have to ask because this is an NIL podcast and, you know, people that give money to subscribe. Can you just talk about what NIL has meant for you, you know, since you've been here at Auburn and just how it's changed the college game?
The first off, it helped me a lot because I never was able to save when I was at App State. When I got here, I was able to save myself, save money for the future. Even if I don't go to the league, God forbid anything happen to me, injuries, I'm able to save every month and capitalize off that. And the second thing, NIL, it helped the college game because some people deserve to get paid, like with these big names. Some people definitely deserve to get paid. Off the image, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't. The only thing that I think that's bad part with it is that people might see it as unfair treatment, but sometimes you got to realize that's how it goes. Like you don't got a bigger name than this person, or you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to be realistic with your self, and that's why I hope some people realize, you know.
Oh yeah, and it definitely helps too to have guys like yourself, to be in a locker room with a bunch of young guys that's coming into college, and now as you was once one of the group of guys that didn't get NIL, and now you're one of the guys that receive NIL on the back end of your career. So you got a chance to see what it was like at both levels. So you're able to help these guys keep their focus where it needs to be, and not just focus on the aspects of what can I get out of NIL. So I think you're a great leader in that category, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Rapid fire, put you on the hot seat a little bit. You're from DC and everything, so I'm pretty sure you was a Washington fan, maybe growing up or not. I'm not sure, but I played at Washington for a few years, and of course they changed the name now. They're under new ownership. So, are you excited about seeing Magic Johnson as the owner at a new Washington?
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's gonna be a little weird because he a NBA player, Hall of Famer, so it's like it's totally different. But as long as he brings a Super Bowl, I'm good. I'm happy with him.
Yeah, him and Josh Harris, that's a good group and everything. They're already making an immediate impact. Just talk about Auburn a little bit. So, have you had a chance to get around the city and try out? What's your favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant, Jim and Nick's, hands down.
Oh, barbecue guy, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm from the city, so I'm really gonna get good barbecue. So when I come down here, the first thing I did was look up barbecue spots, and Jim and Nick's right there, right around the corner. So it was good, and I get it like almost every day. Like that's how good it is.
Okay. All right. Hold on one second. Auburn has a couple of traditions. If you win, then they roll Toomer's Corner, which we don't get a chance much to see because we're probably in the locker room while Toomer Corner is getting rolled. But you have an opportunity to do Tiger Walk or see the Eagle fly. Which one are you most interested in this year?
Tiger Walk. That right there gets you hyped. When you see all them fans, you see all them people, the kids, everything. It's game time. It's money right there on the line. So that's why it gets your blood pumping. So that's the most thing I'm excited for. Seeing all them people. Some people might get shy, but nah, not when the big lights on. Not me.
Yeah, well. So talk about, everyone plays in big games. Take us through the mindset of you when you get ready to play, let's say Georgia this year, Bama this year, and the nerves. What do you do to calm your nerves, and what do you do to get prepared mentally for a game?
My game day routine is just listen to R&B. Just go in the field, listen to R&B. It just soothes you, because like I said, it gets your blood. Like seeing all the people, you look around. You see all the people and you like, oh man, some people get anxious, like or anxious, So me, I just put my headphones on, listen to R&B, I embrace it, So that's the number one thing. Listen to R&B because it calms me down,
And outside of the Iron Bowl, which team are you looking most forward to facing this year in the SEC?
Auburn. I say Auburn. I mean Alabama. Alabama. That's the easiest question. answer. Like.
So you're not looking forward to seeing Georgia come to town on the fourth game of the year?
Of course I am. But the big I want that Iron Bowl. Is that.
Yeah. So you're gonna have something to go back and tell the people up north in Washington D.C. what it's like to play in the Iron Bowl, because not people that see it on TV but experience it is a whole nother level. Like that week, wear your shoulder pads through Tiger Walk, because if it's a big game, you're gonna get your shoulders knocked off before you even get to the locker room, because people gonna be pumping you, hitting you on your chest, saying "Let's go" and War Eagles. So But Jalen, thanks for coming on the show today, man. We appreciate everything you do for Auburn, and looking for an exciting season. And like I said, y'all kick off next Thursday, man. Anything you want to tell Justin and myself, like what you can't wait to see on that Thursday? Why?
Say it again.
I say y'all kick off next Thursday. So anything you want to tell Justin or myself and the Auburn family, like what it is that you can't wait to do to put those cleats on?
Compete. Can't wait to compete, to see what your teammates about, see who got heart, see who doesn't. And hopefully we all got heart, That fall camp, see who bringing the man out, turn some boys to men and some men to boys,
Oh yeah. All right then, Jalen. We appreciate it, man. Can't wait to see you come September the 2nd versus UMass. Good luck, stay healthy. I wish y'all the best. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
See you, Jalen.
See you.
Well, that was Jalen Mcleod, everybody. As you can see right now, man, humble young man. One of our good talents that we was able to pick up in the transfer portal. This guy's going to bring a lot of noise this year. You can't win games without an edge rusher. That's just proven fast, especially in a league and college game day nowadays where everybody's all about, passing the football and trying to get as many plays off as they possibly can to put pressure on defenses. You got to have a guy that can disrupt in offense. And Justin, after hearing him and everything, and what is it that you can't wait to see from this young man?
Yeah, I think he talked about just sort of wreaking havoc and being able to let loose from that position. And I think that's what I want to see in this defense. How is that player used? And I think Jalen could be a perfect guy for that. I think I don't know if Auburn has another guy like him. I mean, Keldrick Falk could be that guy, but he's a true freshman.
Right.
But I don't know that Auburn has a guy like Jalen Mcleod on the roster. And so I just think he's so valuable potentially when you watch him. He's got a high motor, like you said. He's a well-built guy, a lot like Derek Hall, really. And so I want to see what kind of pressure he can put on the quarterback, because he could be such a difference maker for that defense, and I think they need him to be. And I loved his attitude. He's a really humble guy. And then his answer to your question about looking forward to August camp, compete. Yeah, and you could see him light up. So I love that answer. Not just the answer, but his reaction. I mean, that's a dude who loves football. You can see it in his face. He loves football, and that can't be understated.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of competition come fall camp. You got a lot of guys competing. You got of course, the headliners, the quarterback position. Who's going to win it? Robbie, Payton, or Gurner. Those guys will be competing. They'll all be taking equal reps from what Coach Freeze has said. For at least the first week, and then as well as you have to start taking that down until tailor towards the two guys that you're going to be really competing against that second week come around. So, it'll be very interesting. Like I said, we got a lot of newcomers, especially at the receiver position. I think it's going to be, up in the air for who's going to be that starting core, because you got a lot of guys that came in at that receiver position. And I think we got some talent, a lot of talent there. So that's going to be one I'm going to be eyeing as well, outside the quarterback position and everything. And then our secondary is supposed to be one of the best in the SEC this year. And like Jalen said, it helps to be a pass rusher when you know what's behind you. So I think having DJ James, Nehemiah Pritchett, Jalen Simpson moving over to safety, Zion Puckett, those guys, Keontae Scott, I think is going to be the X factor this year, because he's a guy that can play nickel. He can also move outside and play outside corner. He's a guy that can move around a little bit. So I'm excited to see what they do within this defense, some different things that they can bring as far as, coverages, blitzes, and everything like